I was listening to the news and I came across the story of a child somewhere in the South who is between 3 and 4 years old, and he had marks all over his back. Why? His mom or dad or guardian was trying to discipline him for doing something wrong. It was such a simple thing for a child his age, but then his guardian or his parents felt the best thing to do was to beat him and give him marks. And I began to wonder, why do we do things like this? Why do we feel that beating a child or harming a child equals to discipline? I think it's an African thing. We believe so much. I need to beat my child. I need to discipline him. I need to show him. But then I always ask a question. Why are you doing what you are doing? Why are you beating that child at that moment? What do you hope to achieve with your action? It's time for us parents to start having those conversations. It's time for us to start thinking about things like that. Because the truth is that there is a thin line between discipline and abuse. Think about it. Your child does something wrong. You don't tell your child why he did something wrong, and then you begin to beat him and beat him and beat him, and at the end of the day, you have satisfied your fury. You have satisfied yourself. You are no longer angry. You have taken your anger and your frustration out on that child. At the end of the day, the child really doesn't know why you were beating him or her. Did you achieve anything? No. So when you are disciplining your child, you need to understand that beating him or physical harm is not achieving the aim. What's your aim when you have a child? You want to discipline your child. You want to make your child someone that has self-control or someone that is disciplined. But you need to understand that the methods you use will have impact. If you're constantly beating your child, talking down to your child, you might not like the result at the end of the day. Most children who have been physically beaten and abused like that, especially without any explanation, always end up to be hard people. They end up sensitive and difficult children. Why? You beat them so much, you harden them up, and they still don't understand why you were doing what you're doing. So I'm going to share a few tips and a few things I think about this. One, when you beat your child, always have your reason. Always know why you're beating your child, and always try to pass it across to your child. Why did I beat you the last minute? I beat you because you did A, B, C. If you don't want me to beat you again, don't do A, B, C. I'll be honest with you, a child that knows that you care about him will also care about you. Secondly, let your child know you love him or her. You love your child so much, but you don't show it to him or her. And then you begin to beat. See, when discipline comes from a place of love, when beating comes from a place of love, your child will most likely understand that you did this because you loved him. And then thirdly, what are you trying to achieve? Why are you beating that child? Or is beating my child the only option to achieving this aim? Have I thought about other options? Have I thought about talking to the child? Have I thought about withholding something? Have I thought about us discussing this? Have I thought about other means of punishing my child without necessarily beating him or her? We need to understand that even though in Africa, it is still an acceptable norm to beat your child, in other parts of the world, it's no more acceptable. You are even liable to go to jail for beating your child so much that your child has marks for it. So we need to be careful. And then we need to know that we are raising children who we want to compete in the 21st century. A child who you just beat without explaining is going to wonder, is not going to be responsive to you in other areas of life. So what am I saying? I'm not saying don't beat your child. If you believe in it, please do go ahead, because at the end of the day, is your child, she's your child, and you're responsible for his or her turnout in the future. But my point is, when you are beating your child, ask yourself, am I achieving my aim, or is there something else I can do to achieve this aim? Don't ever forget, there's a thin line between discipline and abuse. I hope that this discussion today has impacted on you. If it has, please leave a comment. If you disagree, I'd like to hear from you too. And at the end of the day, I would also like to hear from you. You can send an email, whatever you feel we can talk about. Please share with me so that we can talk about it. You remember that we need to keep having these conversations as parents. My name is Lara again, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.